morning. It's kind of cloudy today, so I hope the light will be okay. I wanted to go over something. Now, I have mentioned before that I do not use fertilizers, I do not use special potting soils, I do not use anything that well, within reason, but I don't buy anything to start my seeds in the spring. And one of the projects that I'm working on, and have been working on for several years, is to make sure that my plants can survive and thrive in my soil. So last year, up until last year, I was working on getting as many seeds as possible. That's the first step, is to make sure that you're not going to run out of genetic diversity. So this year, because I had plenty of seeds, I started selecting, and this year has followed the same pattern as far as the tomatoes, specifically tomatoes. It's followed the same pattern as previous years. I plant in regular potting soil, and some of the plants thrive, or not potting soil, I'm sorry, garden soil. Some of the plants thrive, and some of the plants do not. So this year I separated out those that started first. I separated out those that got their secondary leaves first. And at this point, the majority of the tomatoes are in the greenhouse, which means cool nights and warm days. I'm not giving them any special attention except to make sure that they stay watered. Now, this batch were those these were the ones that grew first and got their secondary leaves first. So you can see these three are about the same size. These two are about the same size. And this one is actually thriving a lot better than any of the others. But these are the best of the seedlings. Now, last year, I started with a whole bunch of seedlings that started and then really didn't get any of their secondary leaves until they were put outside in the soil, and then they took off and they produced pretty much like everything else. There weren't very many differences. But I only want the strongest to take seeds from. Now, sorry for the shaking. This group over here have just been repotted in the last few days. All of these seeds were planted the same day. I've got some more inside that I'm starting another batch, but all of these were planted the same day as these. And I'm guessing that shortly a bunch of these will start taking off. You can see one right there. Since I potted it, its secondary leaves are starting to grow since I put it outside in the greenhouse. My guess is, and it's just a guess, that this batch were not doing well in the subdued light in the window. It was not full sun, but it did get sun for a good portion of the day, and it had a little bit of supplementary lighting. But these actually thrived in that environment. They came up, they got their secondary leaves, no problems with growth, and you can see that some of them are actually ready or almost ready to go in the ground, which that will be a couple of weeks yet, probably a month or so. Now, this next batch, there's one in there that is not a tomato, but these were planted again all on the same day. And these were planted, these two here, were planted on the same day as all of the others. So you can see the variety. There's one here in the corner that I'm keeping an eye on just to see how well it does. But for the most part, this group right here are going to be the ones that I take my seeds from. Not that one in the corner. I need to take a look at that and keep an eye on that. But all of these did well. in the subdued light. They put out their secondary leaves. They started growing. After they were repotted, these two are the two that I left in the house after I had repotted them, and I brought all of the others out. These two here in the center were repotted the same day. You can see the difference. These are much more spindly, but as the growth starts to come out, it's coming out much closer together and the leaves are more green. So this is essentially my seed bucket. These will all be planted in the same row so that I can keep track of them. And everything else here and this batch over here are going to, if last year is any judge, they will continue to grow and be ready to plant out, and then they will do just fine once they are out in the soil in the full sun. But one thing to remember is that a greenhouse is not full sun. It has the panels on it that block a major part of the sun. So they are getting more sun than they were, but they are not getting full sun. So those 3 batches, or 2 batches technically, these are the ones that I will be taking my seeds off of this year, particularly this one, because I want only the strongest for seed from this point on. I've got enough seeds that I can continue with the project, and I want seeds that can thrive under my conditions. Whatever is thrown at them, they have to be able to take it and thrive and pop back and just spit not good enough back in my face. I will talk with you later.